protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
But if I finish all of my chores and you finish thine, then tonight we're gonna party like it's $16.99. We've been spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
It's hard work and
Welcome back to another edition of Saturday Night on the Circle. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher. Happy to return to the microphone once again. And tonight is going to be a very entertaining show. We're going to start with some weak sauce excuses offered up on the Wednesday interview with Hammer and Nigel by Governor Mike Braun regarding the disastrous failure of his property tax bill, SB1, which has been signed into law. We're also going to play a crazy clip of a liberal woman who came completely unhinged after receiving what should have been a simple speeding ticket. That's coming in the sound dump. It's 2 minutes of pure entertainment. I assure you, you don't want to miss. And then hour two, we have our friend Abdul Hakim Shabazz coming on the show. He's going to give us a Gabe update as well as attempt to provide some defense for the establishment side for the failure of SB1 and, of course, the regularly recurring Conspiracy Carl segment. So don't miss that. It's going to be a fantastic show. And a little bit of a housekeeping announcement, Producer Gavin. This is some exciting stuff, but several of our supporters in the YouTube chat and on social media have talked to me and asked about where we can get some Saturday Night on the Circle or Oof Nation merchandise, which I haven't set up yet. We don't have any official merchandise yet. But it is on the way. Now, this hasn't been finalized by any means, but the discussions are taking place. I was talking with Jason Hammer, who, of course, has Hammer and Nigel merchandise set up, and we were potentially talking about partnering up and then offering some Saturday Night on the Circle merchandise in association with the Hammer and Nigel show. Nothing is finalized yet. I want to emphasize that. The ink is far from dry, but we are in the planning stages. So if you are interested in getting some official merch, send me a message. Send me a message on Twitter, at Ethan Hatcher, or, of course, my Facebook page, Ethan Hatcher. Send me a message on there, and, of course, comment in the YouTube feed what you might want to see as far as official merchandise is concerned, because it's probably going to be sold in extremely limited quantity. You know what I mean? It's a Saturday show. Let's be honest. But exciting news, nevertheless, and I wanted to share. The start of the show, however, is going to be dedicated to Mike Braun, who appeared on Hammer and Nigel on Wednesday. And again, he had the opportunity to set the tone of what his administration was going to be. And the failure of SB1 is a hugely missed opportunity because he has signaled to the General Assembly, whether sincere or not, he will completely fold like a cheap suit under any degree of pressure because what was delivered is far from what was promised, and he knows that. And now, instead of owning up and accepting responsibility, the buck stops here. He is attempting to blame shift and say that he heard about it, but the legislators did not. It's some weak sauce. Where's the PC there, Producer Gavin? You got that up? All right, we're good to go.
What we hear from our audience is we took the day off of work, we went to the State House, we chanted your name, Braun, Braun. You rolled up your sleeve, you said fight. You came on our program and said if you don't like it, you would veto the bill. It seems like that didn't happen. What's your response to all of that?
So the interesting dynamic at play here is when I traveled campaigning, I heard it a lot. Told you that when I came on the show. In the rally, we heard it. The issue was the legislators weren't hearing it. So when they said it was going to be the number one issue with Senate Bill 1, and then delayed actually even doing anything with it for about a month or so, that got you into early, mid-February. And then remember, they moved it into the House, and all that was left of the original plan was help for veterans and over 65.
Hey, pal, You just blowing from Stupid Town?
Producer Gavin, the governor isn't even attempting to gaslight you there. He's flat lying to you when he says that the legislators didn't hear it. You know what? You know how I know? Because every one of those Republicans who are running for re-election this year ran on the coattails of Governor Braun and property tax reform. It was on the official mailers that they sent out. And if they didn't signal it there, they damn well heard us at the State House rally on St. Patrick's Day. They sneered at us from the fourth floor. They refused to interact with the more than 1,000 Hoosier voices that all joined the chorus demanding reform. So no, Governor Braun, the legislators did hear us, and you know they heard us because it was your plan. That's how it became SB 1. That's how it became the centerpiece legislative issue, and you allowed the General Assembly to completely gut the bill. So again, it's not gaslighting, it's flat lying. And in order to, this is what weak people have to do to make themselves look better, is they denigrate others. And Mike Braun decided to go after a beloved Hoosier hero, a governor who actually did achieve meaningful property tax reform in his time. And of course, I'm referring to the beloved Mitch Daniels, who Governor Braun wasted no time in throwing under the bus in the first 100 days in office. Pathetic.
I guess there was a 4-year plan that we had not heard anything about. I think people expected 2021 levels, fight, and then next thing you know, we're hearing, well, this is a baby step. I think that caught them off guard.
The 4-year reference mostly was that it took Mitch Daniels 4 years to get his done. There was never a discussion about a 4-year plan other than once you were dealing with the realities of what you had to work with. I would have vetoed it had it been the SB 1 bill as the Senate modified it. A special session may not have done anything, you don't know. But then, rather than have nothing, we plussed it up to a place where, to me, it was worth the minimum amount to get it across the finish line. We got it done in 3.5 months. It took Mitch Daniels 4 years.
You're a crook. You're a cheat and a swindler. That's what you are. How can you do a thing like this?
Well, since Governor Braun invited these comparisons, let's go ahead and make them. Now, while Mitch Daniels did deliver meaningful property tax reform in the form of property tax caps that were, might I add, constitutionally implemented into the Indiana State Constitution, you, on the other hand, have promised a 2021 property tax reset and failed to deliver spectacularly, attempting to claim this 2.5% increase from the 7.5% property tax relief that was offered in the initial proposal, the return, and then increasing that into property tax credit. That's the term I was searching for. A 7.5% credit for the homestead, increasing that to 10%, capped at $300, up from $200, is not meaningful property tax reform, and it's a game of expectations. Governor Mitch Daniels came forward with a plan, and he moved to implement that plan step by step. You, on the other hand, overpromised and drastically underdelivered. So there's a big differentiation for you there. And then now, in addition to blaming the legislature for his failures, in addition to throwing former Governor Mitch Daniels under the bus, now he's also attempting to blame you and saying that showing up to that property tax rally wasn't enough because you didn't make your voices heard to the legislators and to the school boards. How weird and gross is that?
And the goal is to work on it now year after year to where we get the homestead side of it to where many people don't want any property tax. And we've broken the mold, started the pace on getting there. And if we want to do it, it's going to take all the people that were passionate about it showing up at your local school board meetings and your local government meetings to raise the cry of wanting more, needing more there, because you can't count on the legislature and the governor to keep fixing it each year.
What?
And if we do want to get more, it's going to take that type of input as well.
I think I can smell shite. Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
Again, this is hokum. This is bullpucky. The governor isn't trying to gaslight you. He is trying to lie to you because the school boards don't write tax bills. That comes out of the General Assembly. And if the governor and the General Assembly can't be expected to fix our tax code, then who can? That by far was the most repugnant claim that the governor tried to proffer while he made his appearance on the Hammer and Nigel show, which I note was quite brief. He had a cleverly timed press conference that required him to make a hasty departure from the studio and go over to the State House because, of course, he was not interested in doing a long form interview and living up to any level of accountability. Although, I guess at the end of the day, we do have to give him credit for coming in the studio at all, something that former Governor Holcomb refused to do entirely. But when he's putting it in the hands of these local governments and these school boards and their expectation to deliver meaningful property tax reform, it's never going to happen, because anytime you tried to cut taxes, to cut the size of government, they cry foul and they use kids as human shields. And it reminded me specifically of this skit from South Park where they were talking about what would happen if you illegally downloaded music, but instead just switch illegal downloads with meaningful property tax reform, and you get the same idea here.
This is the home of Lars Ulrich, the drummer from Metallica. Look, there's Lars now, sitting by his pool.
What's the matter with him?
This month he was hoping to have a gold-plated Shark Tank bar installed right next to the pool. But thanks to people downloading his music for free, he must now wait a few months before he can afford it. Come, there's more. Here's Britney Spears' private jet. Notice anything? Britney used to have a Gulfstream 4. Now she's had to sell it and get a Gulfstream 3 because people like you chose to download her music for free. The Gulfstream 3 doesn't even have a remote control for its surround sound DVD system. Still think downloading music for free is no big deal?
We didn't realize what we were doing.
That is the folly of man. Now look in this window. Here you see the loving family of Master P. Next week is his son's birthday, and all he's ever wanted is an island in French Polynesia.
So he's gonna get it, right?
I see an island without an owner. If things keep going the way they are, the child will not get his tropical paradise.
We're sorry. We'll never download music for free again.
And it's the same attitude from these local governments and school districts that act like they can't do with less when you've been expected to over the course of the entire Biden administration, and even continuing into the Trump administration as we face economic and inflationary pressures. They will find infinite money for their little giveaways, for their splash pads, for their water parks, for their soccer stadiums, for their baseball diamonds, for their hotels, for anything and everything except meaningful property tax reform. And then they cry foul when you demand responsible government reform. That's the way it is. Unfortunately, Governor Mike Braun has signaled that he is unlikely to deliver, so it's incumbent upon you to let Republicans know how you feel in the primary season and vote those bastards out of office. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. We got a lot more show on the way, so stay tuned to 93 WIBC.
Kendall and Casey.
You just heard him mention dignity.
Simple dignity. Everyone deserves to be treated with dignity.
Dignity!
He's turned into Randy Marsh from South Park. I'm America. I'm sorry. It's America.
It's about dignity.
Yes.
Arresting me for what? I'm not allowed to stand up for myself? I thought this was America.
Kendall and Casey. Weekdays 9 till noon on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hi, this is Denny Smith for Exercise Inc. I've been working out there now for nearly 2 decades, and let me tell you, it works. I'm in my 70s now, and I'm doing things on the farm that I couldn't even do in my 40s. Lifting and carrying, working the way I want to, without worrying if my body can keep up. Now that's real strength. That's real results. What makes Exercise Inc. different? Well, it's the people. The professional staff, many with over 15 years of experience, know exactly how to guide me, support me, and push me to be my very strongest because they know what works. It only takes 20 minutes a week. No wasted time, no crowded gyms, just real results. If you're tired of feeling weaker, if you want more energy and strength for everyday life, give this a try. The consultation is free, and I can promise you it's worth it. Exercise Inc. It's helped me stay strong for nearly 20 years. They can help you too. Go to exerciseinc.com today to sign up. They've got locations in Avon, Brownsburg, Zionsville, and Greenwood, and in Fishers, too. That's exerciseinc.com.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Good times are always in stock at Crown Liquors and have been since 1989. For a limited time, get throwback pricing. Svedka vodka half gallons are only $9.99. Basil Hayden bourbon only $29.99. Jack Daniel's 750s only $17.99. Premium Don Julio Reposado only $39.99. And Kendall Jackson Chardonnay only $10.99. Pick up ice cold 12 packs of Corona Modelo Family only $17.99. Huge savings on top sellers at Crown Liquors.
Johns Hopkins University has found that just mild hearing loss doubles your risk of dementia, so hearing loss isn't something to ignore.
But hearing aids are so expensive and ugly.
Not anymore. Meet Audien Hearing. You can get nearly invisible hearing aids without a prescription starting at $98 a pair, and they're ready to use right out of the box. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, and with over 1 million customers, Audien is easy to trust. Visit audienhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This time next week, I'll be sick in bed with West Nile virus, thanks to a mosquito bite right in front of my house.
In 8 minutes, my daughter will be in an ambulance, having an asthma attack, triggered by cockroaches.
I'm going to be bitten by a tick today. I won't even know it until Lyme disease turns my life upside down.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Find the path to recovery that works for you. Learn more at cdc.gov/stopoverdose.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm Ethan Hatcher. Producer Jack is out this week, and in his place is the dutiful producer Gavin. Beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Of course, this segment I wanted to talk about an incredible anniversary that I can't believe is here. It's going to make everyone feel old. But first and foremost, if you haven't done so, make sure to hop on the YouTube machine and give us a like. It helps the show, helps boost us in the algorithm, and helps the station out tremendously. Of course, that 20th anniversary that I was referring to is the 20th anniversary of the first YouTube video ever uploaded. I can't believe it's here. It was titled Me at the Zoo.
All right, so here we are, one of the elephants. And the cool thing about these guys is that they have really, really, really long trunks, and that's cool. And that's pretty much all there is to say.
And thus began a broadcasting empire, the likes of which the world had never seen before. I mean, it began so small, but look at what YouTube has grown to be. It is, a premier podcasting platform. It is an entertainment delivery platform. It is a news platform that many people use. Like YouTube is, I think, one of the most visited, if not the most visited website on the internet. And it grew from such humble beginnings. How old were you, producer Gavin, back in 2005? When this was published in April, I would have still been 12 years old, but I would have been 13 later that year in 2005.
I had just turned 4.
Just turned 4. I mean, it's crazy to me that now YouTube is going to be old enough to drink. Did you think you'd see that day?
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
you knew mathematically it was going to be here, but it's just crazy how these institutions are now aging. I mean, heck, it's hard to believe that Oblivion is now almost 20 years old. That came out in 2006, and they just the remaster just dropped the other day. Did you get that, producer Gavin?
It's on the list. I was going to say, it's also crazy that Revenge of the Sith, same year as YouTube, all that, like,
yeah,
we're running into a lot of anniversaries that make me realize, like, I am old.
The passage of time. And Revenge of the Sith, speaking of which, just dropped in theaters this week. I didn't think that was coming until May, but apparently the showings have started early. So if you,
I think they're doing Force Awakens in May.
Okay. Well, if you want to catch your re-release and see Episode 3 in theaters for the first time in 20 years, now's your opportunity to get some tickets. Of course, this week on Monday, kind of important passage for Christians, the largest Christian religion in the world. Of course, I'm referring to the passing of the Pope. Now, Pope Francis, I thought he was kind of a stinker in life, and I haven't modulated that opinion in death. But I understand for many people, he was, a symbol. A symbol of the religion, and with that passing, many mourn. And now there is discussion of the possibility that they could name, especially as progressive as Pope Francis was, in many ways, a social justice pope. Now they're discussing the possibility of naming a female pope for the very first time. But I'll tell you, producer Gavin, I don't think that's likely to happen. And here's why.
There will never, ever be a female pope. Do you understand this? Do you know why? Because the church lost the Holy Grail 500 years ago. The last thing they want is a female pope showing up at the Vatican, opening up a random cupboard going, there it is. There, the Holy Grail. It's been there the whole time. Oh my God.
He's out of line, but he's right.
I mean, how embarrassing would that be? You first female pope, she opens up a cupboard and there it is. You've been looking over at you daft old man. But so, yeah, don't worry, folks. I don't think a female pope is likely to come out of the Conclave. And man, what perfect timing for that Ralph Fiennes movie, Conclave. That's the craziest marketing campaign in history. They actually killed a pope to market the movie. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle, 93 WIBC. Another anniversary that we wanted to mark, of course, was the first 100 days of Donald Trump, as well as Mike Braun. And Mike Braun taking a little over-congratulatory victory lap. He posted this on social media, attempting to frame the past 100 days in a positive light. Didn't work, but he made the attempt.
Governor Braun here. Today marks my 100th day as governor. In my inaugural address, I said our focus would be on results and putting freedom and opportunity at the center of everything we do. We've kept those promises and many more. We secured meaningful tax relief for Hoosiers.
Oh.
When critics say we could only slow the increase on property taxes, I said we could deliver real relief. We delivered a property tax cut for most Hoosier homeowners, farmers, and businesses. It limits future tax hikes and makes the tax system more transparent. Ooh. We're taking action across the government to reduce, streamline, and improve, like our efforts to modernize the BMV, cut 25% of regulations, and cut wasteful spending. Put a lot of points on the board for the freedom and opportunity agenda in the first 100 days, and we're just getting started. I'm honored to serve as your governor.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks! I mean, there was a lot of whoppers in those 60 seconds, but let's go ahead and center in on the property tax. He did not deliver meaningful reform. He did not even manage to slow the increase, which is what he just said there. They did nothing to address the assessment loophole for the property tax caps in the Indiana State Constitution. SB 1 did nothing to address that. So as long as your neighbors continue to be able to sell their homes for astronomical prices, it is going to negatively impact your quality of life as well as your tax bill. So, again, very over-congratulatory, and the number of whoppers that were told in that short span of time would make Bill Clinton blush. Thanks for listening to the show. Now, of course, the budget also passed this week, and one of the things that came up in the hearings was a projected $2 billion shortfall that legislators have been attempting to plug ever since. And, of course, Democrats, the only thing that they can ever suggest is tax increases. Now, of course, Republicans did tax increases as well. They targeted smokers. But here was Representative Mike Andrade proposing a fireworks tax increase.
And those dollars that we're going to be losing with some of those local units of government and our local fire departments being on the shopping block when it comes to the revenue that they're going to be seeing. A good idea is to increase the taxes on fireworks and divert some of those dollars to go to the local units of government and go to fire departments. If you're buying fireworks and you're out there just blowing them off, you're just blowing off money. So why don't we tax it? It's not a luxury.
Taxes, beautiful, lovely taxes.
That's all Democrats can ever come up with is raising taxes. And I'll tell you what I think of the idea to raise taxes on fireworks. It stinks. Raising taxes on fireworks is like one of the most anti-American things I can possibly imagine. How else are you going to celebrate 4th of July? To quote that famous New York state candidate, the price of fireworks is too damn high. So say no to property or fireworks tax increases, and fortunately they did. They just targeted smokers instead, which is not an admirable Republican alternative, but such is the state of affairs in eastern Illinois or the California of the Midwest that is Republican-led Indiana. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. The sound dump is up next, and you're going to hear a meltdown that truly cannot be missed. Stay tuned.
Hammer and Nigel.
I told my kids this the other day, and it blew their mind. Right now, in the United States of America, we live in a country where the mayor of Knox County has put the Department of Education through a table before. Glenn Jacobs has put Linda McMahon through incredible. A table before. That's awesome.
Hammer and Nigel, weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
The following is a paid advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states. Have you or your loved ones been injured in an accident that was not your fault? Listen up, because you need to call the Legal Help Center. They handle all types of accidents, from car accidents, motorcycle, DUI, rideshare, to workplace injuries, slips and falls, and many more. Legal Help Center was created to be a reliable resource, connecting injured victims to local area attorneys with experience in your accident. Legal Help Center representatives are ready to answer your questions and provide you a free consultation. Find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. If you've been injured from an accident that was not your fault, you need to call. Get your life back, know your legal rights, and get the financial compensation you deserve. Let Legal Help Center connect you with a law firm who can answer your questions. Call Legal Help Center for a free consultation. 800-438-8080. Speak to a live agent now. 800-438-8080. 800-438-8080.
We see it every day online, tragedy of some sort, and our kids see it too. This message is brought to you by the Indiana Youth Institute. Now more than ever, our youth need our support, even if they don't experience an event firsthand. Talking about what is going on can help them understand and feel safe. When talking to our youth about tragedy, use gentle words, offer comfort, and encourage them to share their worries. And remember, our youth could be experiencing fear, shock, anger, anxiety, and grief. These reactions are all normal, and their age will likely affect how they handle the stress. Be patient with support as your child grieves. However, if the child continues to display strong reaction for more than 2 to 4 weeks, they might need more help coping. This Kids Count Minute is a message from the Indiana Youth Institute. For more parent tips, go to IYI.org/kids.
Kids count on you.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
Fox News,
I'm Jane Fergus. Pope Francis laid to rest today after a funeral at the Vatican attended by presidents, princes, clergy, and 250,000 mourners.
The
homily by Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re prompted waves of applause. The late Pope's message summed up as "Build bridges, not walls."
Fox's Jonathan Savage reporting from Rome. A change in attitude. President Trump saying on Truth Social today that there is no reason for Russian President Vladimir Putin to be targeting civilian areas in Ukraine.
He went on to say, "It makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along and has to be dealt with differently through banking or secondary sanctions."
Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like your neighbor Jerry.
When we first started looking for different options, we went to the internet. We did choose Galaxy, and definitely happy that we did. We first had our front porch and our pool deck done. Decided we loved it so much, we had them out about 10, 11 months later to finish up and do our back porch.
Commercial or residential, 4 times stronger than epoxy, and it comes with a lifetime warranty.
The crews at Galaxy were great. They actually cared about my property. Very punctual, knowledgeable, and just a great group of workers.
Galaxy Concrete Coatings works for any area like patios, garage floors, driveways, and around pools.
I'm 100% satisfied. It's not slippery and it's not hot. I was very impressed with the product. It's amazing that I don't burn my feet and my 6-year-old doesn't fall.
Click on GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com and remember to like us on Facebook, GalaxyConcreteCoatings.com. We are out of this world. Come on, Indy. Don't use the spring to paint your house year after year. Do what Deanna did. She called Rhino Shield.
I was noticing some cracks and the paint's faded. I was like, okay, I think I should get my house painted. So my neighbor had a Rhino Shield placard in the yard. And after they were finished, I was just, wow. With the warranty and everything, it just seemed silly not to go that route.
The ceramic coating of Rhino Shield is specifically formulated for our climate.
So the Rhino Shield crew came out. Nothing was damaged in the process. I was very happy. They just didn't leave a mess. You couldn't even tell they were there. And the house looked so different. It just looked like a new home.
Backed by a 25-year transferable warranty. And now get the protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Rhino Shield, I think it increases the value and the curb appeal of your home. Definitely worth it.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield. There is no pain you are receding.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Once more, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to don your faithful hazmat suit as we wade through the wasteland of the human condition, inspired by liberalism and its caustic effect on basic morals and decency. You'll hear the most spectacular meltdown of the year from an entitled liberal woman who managed to escalate a simple traffic ticket into a hospitalization for mental health crisis and prison time. Also not to be missed is the fallout of failure caused by nationalizing school loans and goading kids into the false promises of higher earnings by obtaining worthless degrees. Don't miss a moment of this week's edition of The Sound Dump.
I'll take you for a ride. I'm a garbage truck.
It's the Saturday Night Sound Dump on 93 WIBC.
I take you to the dump. I show you the sights, you know you wanna ride. I'm a garbage truck.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle, where I'm your bespectacled curmudgeon, Ethan Hatcher, and that's producer Gavin filling in for producer Jack Shoes, beep, 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 pushing the buttons and doing the things to make the show function. Producer Gavin, I don't know if you caught this from, I think it was Espen. This was Shaquille O'Neal, otherwise known as Shaquille O'Neal. He was caught in the middle of a broadcast, and he had what many of us have, the worst nightmare, and I don't mean dropping an F-bomb live on air. No, he had to answer nature's call in a mighty rush, and this was all caught in mid-broadcast.
The other thing about Kawhi is, you all right, big fella? You all right, catching a cramp?
Woo!
Go ahead, keep talking, Chuck.
Yeah, we're on TV.
I know what we're doing. Go ahead. Yeah, that's that olive oil you've been drinking.
I know. Hey, take some matches with you.
Hey, listen, he couldn't hold it. He can't hold it. After 40, he can't hold it no more.
That's at first.
He can't hold it.
Unless
he's got something.
That wasn't something planned, was it?
No,
that was
not at all. Hey, listen, he was in the back talking about he's going to drink alcohol to clear up his
No, he's been drinking the olive oil. You know what?
Olive oil to clean his gut. It's cleaning his gut.
I did not like his gait as he left. That was not a typical walk right there. Hey, he's been drinking. He says he read somewhere if you drink a shot of olive oil. I saw them doing that the other day in the makeup room. They've been doing it. They're going to do it. You have to do it for 2 weeks. Well, you're going to miss a lot of airtime then.
Hey, listen.
I just hope we got enough matches around here.
Please turn his mic off. That's all.
That's another issue. Hey, somebody go get some lighters.
Oh my God.
All right. Yeah, let's.
You can't even.
How do we segue from that?
Human.
So, Producer Gavin, has anything like that ever happened to you? You've been caught blindsided by the call of nature in the middle of a broadcast before?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Not like
that. Presumably.
Not like that by any means. It was more of like, let's speed up the segment at hand and then go to maybe in a longer break.
Well, that's, I think, what Shaq was trying to get as well, but he couldn't get the signal across to his co-host and just had to make a break for it at a certain point.
He luckily has co-host to hold it for him. I was doing a solo shift. So.
Ooh, yeah, yikes. Sounds like he was getting advice from my mother's old dietitian. Speaking of drinking shots of pure olive oil, I had to do something similar when I was a young man. I did a week-long fast, and then you were supposed. This was homeopathic medicine, which is pure quackery stuff and nonsense. And you did a week-long fast, and then you were supposed to follow it up by drinking 6 or an 8-ounce glass of pure olive oil with I think some herbs that were in it, and then drops of lemon juice. And boy, that'll give you the runs for sure. So I feel Shaq's pain. Fortunately, that was long before my broadcasting career. Now, Producer Gavin, this is the moment many of our listeners have been waiting for because I teased it in the first segment of our show, this is the liberal woman who completely lost her mind at this police officer for giving her a speeding ticket and then managed to escalate what should have been a simple interaction into a hospitalization. This is nuts.
So I have to follow every fucking law, but that he can leave the fucking scene without a turn signal? Give him a ticket!
Do you need an ambulance?
He doesn't have a turn signal! Give him a ticket!
You need to go to the...
Let him get a ticket! He can do whatever he wants!
Okay.
Give him a ticket!
Okay. Can I help you with anything else?
Give him a ticket! Okay, come on!
It's not gonna happen. Anything else we can help you with tonight?
Yeah, giving him a ticket!
All right, it's not gonna happen.
What the f*** does he get to do whatever the f*** he wants for?
I just want to know, are you okay?
Give him a ticket! Dumbass! Why the f*** doesn't he get a ticket?
I can help you talk to somebody.
He didn't use his turn signal!
Man, can I please call you an ambulance? Do you have any thoughts of harming us?
Where the f*** is he?
Where are you calling?
Shut the f*** up!
Okay. If you keep calling 911, you could...
It's an emergency!
It's not.
I am getting harassed! People are breaking the law!
877 on the line again?
Affirmative.
You can hang up.
So what the f*** are they being retarded for? Don't they need to do what the f*** I say now?
Jayla, you are in an emotional state. I can't talk with you.
All of you stupid, fat, fucking white privileged motherfuckers keep costing me money, and you do whatever.
There we go.
Fuck you, what?
Mental illness
is a political identity and always has been.
So yeah, that was a 2-minute highlight of a more than 20-minute interaction that was itself whittled down from a much longer interaction with this 21-year-old young woman throwing a full toddler-esque temper tantrum. This is the withering effect of liberal feminism on your mental state. And clearly, this woman has utterly lacked any form of discipline in her life. This is not the only interaction with police officers that she's had, by the way, as you can imagine. After spending 141 days in detention and then getting released on time served, she then, in very short order, found herself in conflict with police officers once again, this time in a dispute with her and a roommate over the control of an apartment key, and she gave chase. It's a long and similarly inflammatory interaction. If you want to check out these videos, you can find them on YouTube. Check out the channel CopCam Max. It's one of the more recent videos that have been uploaded. But yeah, you can find the full interaction there. Crazy stuff. And here was another liberal woman, this time expressing distress because now the student loans are coming due, and now that Donald Trump is once again in charge, now they are potentially going to garnish your wages if you haven't made payments in a long time, and that is causing distress to people who have chosen to ignore their duty to repay their student loans, like this woman.
They about to garnish our wages. They really know how to just ruin your day. The U.S. government hates everybody here. Y'all, as of May 5th, they're taking 15% of your wages towards student loans. Y'all, I've been ignoring student loans since I've been in school. If y'all know how much I owe in student loan, y'all would think I went to school to be a lawyer. And it's a degree that wasn't even providing me a decent lifestyle. I was just living off vibes. So you mean to tell me I went to school and y'all lied to me? Y'all wanted me to go out there and do triple the work to get a degree. Y'all, I owe so much money. I'm in Texas, so we don't have state tax. 15%, hell, you might as well go ahead and add 5 more. Add 10. Because that's the state tax. I cannot believe this. I just had to pull over, y'all. My head started throbbing. I'm about to get a headache. They're doing this in a couple of weeks, y'all. I gotta go do deferment. I gotta go do something. Y'all, we can't get away from this. People are even already saying that their credit score has dropped from a 700-something to a 500-something. Oh my gosh, my credit score.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Well, this is a foreseeable consequence of taking out overblown student loans for a valueless college degree, dithering and wasting time in overpriced college, and then not paying back your loan and going to default and allowing them to accrue interest. It will have disastrous effects on your financial health. Although I do feel sorry to a certain extent because many of these people who were fooled were done so by the academic system, a lot of times in local schools, encouraging you to go get that further education under the false impression that it will give you a more lucrative career, but not if you're not getting a worthwhile degree. If you're not going for that medical doctorate, if you're not going to be a lawyer, if you're not going to be an engineer, you don't need that English major. Probably not going to pay too well. You don't need that degree in gendered feminism and studies. You don't need it. It's not going to lead to good places, which I'm assuming is exactly what that woman was referring to. Now, before we ended the segment, I did want to share one Southern California mayor's way to solve the homelessness crisis in his city. A little unconventional, but very based.
It sounds like you want to kind of enclose all these homeless people in one territory. And I don't.
What I want to do is give them free fentanyl. I mean, that's what I want to do.
Do what?
I want to give them free fentanyl.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't understand what you're saying. You wanted to get with them what?
I want to give them all the fentanyl they want. That's what I want.
That was not kind.
If those kids could read, they'd be very upset.
That is as Rex Ferris, or Paris, I should say, very unconventional solution to the homelessness problem in Southern California. Stay tuned to more Saturday Night on The Circle, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done yet.
Executive orders are flying.
Instituting reciprocal tariffs. They do it to us and we do it to them.
Policies are shifting.
He changed the policies.
There will be a 90-day pause on the reciprocal tariffs.
Priorities are being rewritten.
I don't understand what the confusion is.
Follow the home stretch of the first 100 days.
The American dream, just dream big. We're bringing it back.
When the ride is over, it'll stop here.
Greatest movement in the history of the world.
Stay in the know while you're on the go. 93 WIBC.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end. The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends gathered round. The good old days are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at all Kroger and Payless supermarkets.
You know that feeling of a fresh, clean home? Well, spring is the perfect time to make it happen with Zero Res. Hi, this is Denny Smith. Think about everything winter left behind. Dirt, dust, allergens, pet dander, and maybe even some mystery stains. It's time to get Zero Resified. For a limited time, get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $119 and take $75 off air duct cleaning too. That's real savings on a deep clean. Zero Res's patented ZR water cleans with no soap, no residue, no harsh chemicals, just fresher carpets and cleaner air for your family. And don't take my word for it, just check out 4,900 5-star Google reviews. Don't wait. Beat the spring cleaning rush and book today. Call 317-388-5141 or schedule online at zeroresindy.com. Call now. Mention WIBC, get 3 rooms cleaned starting at just $119 plus $75 off air duct cleaning. 317-388-5141 or zeroresindy.com. Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens. The greenhouse is filled with great spring color and tropical plants. Sundown Gardens is your one-stop shop this spring for all things home and garden. Hanging baskets, bedding flats, tropicals, vegetables, herbs, herbaceous perennials, trees, shrubs, home decor, and more. If you need it for your home or landscape, Sundown Gardens has it. Now's the time to get your home beautified for all summer. Sundown Gardens, located on the corner of Spring Mill Road and 186th Street in Westfield.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. Breaking news updates, local headlines, and statewide coverage are always available at WIBC.com. When the news moves fast, we will too. Stay in the know while you're on the go with WIBC.com. This is Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on The Circle, and we got a short segment in this bit, but truly, we do live in an incredibly degenerate society, and now, producer Gavin, we have diminished to the place where now not even regular women are good enough. People are using AI for the purposes of making Down syndrome hotties. This is the newest trend.
We are promised flying cars, robotic assistants, and a cure for cancer. Instead, we got AI-generated girls with Down syndrome being used to promote spicy content.
It's over. We are screwed.
You might think I'm joking. When this article dropped, I wish I was hallucinating. People are using AI tools to create fake influencers who are made to look like they have Down syndrome because that's the new hotness. Normal women? Nah, that's old stuff. Give me a girl that can't count. And they're using these horrible AI tools to sell us content. These brave entrepreneurs are calling it Only Downs. Imagine what Henry Ford could have done if he had the power of AI and absolutely no moral compass.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Only downs? Producer guy, what are we doing? What are we doing anymore? We were truly scraping the bottom of the barrel as far as it comes from humanity.
Disgusting.
Yes, disgusting. Now you are literally fetishizing disability. This is incredibly gross stuff. But, with great power comes great responsibility, and the enormous potential offered by AI includes the potential for incredible degeneracy, which, of course, we've fully taken advantage of in the modern society we live. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot more to come. Hour 2 is on the way on 93 WIBC.
Another update is just minutes away.
9 people dead in Kyiv.
70 missiles and 150 drones. Peace talks stalled.
Shows Russia does not want peace.
Hear the news.
If you smoke, dip, or chew, you're going to pay more for your vice.
$2 per pack tax is being added to cigarettes.
Persuade people to not start smoking.
As events happen,
a murder suspect.
We'll happen to be there.
Kevin Maddox dismissed staffing shortages, released from custody. Amber Brigham was also facing criminal charges.
93 WIBC Mobile News.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling, BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. BOOHER, BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Ready to build your custom dream home? Check out Joyner Homes in Greenfield. They've built hundreds of homes across Central Indiana. Joyner Homes builds homes that have character, like the homes of yesterday, but have modern features. Character-rich features with exposed wood beams, stone fireplaces, custom build-ins, and smart design. Joyner Homes has a full in-house team that includes architectural and design specialists that will be with you every step to ensure your vision comes to life. See pricing, floor plans, and photos at joynerhomes.com.
At Advantage Vent, they make the only crawl-space vent that looks like a window and works like a window. Vinyl frame, double pane glass, clean airflow, sealed protection. This isn't just ventilation, it's a full upgrade for your home for a mere fraction of encapsulation cost. Reduce moisture, odors, radon gas, and energy bills with Advantage Vent's Indiana-made crawl-space solutions, like their Power Vent with built-in fans. Available on Amazon. Use promo code INDY2025 for your extra exclusive discount today. That's AdvantageVent.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensated for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
Broadcasting from the Technology Recycler Studios, this is Indy's Mobile News, 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. The news starts now.
Wonderful goodbye to a beloved leader. Fox News, I'm Jane Fergus. Pope Francis was laid to rest today with more than 250,000 mourners attending his funeral at St. Peter's Square. Fox's Alex Hogan reports from Vatican City.
A beautiful and moving 2-hour service was carried
carried out in a handful of languages and took place on the steps of St. Peter's, with screens streaming the service for the faithful packed across nearby streets to be able to follow along. In the service's homily, Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re said, quote, Pope Francis truly shared the anxiety, suffering, and hopes of this time of globalization. The guiding thread of his mission was also the conviction that the church is a home for all, a home with its doors always open.
President Trump says he has doubts Russia's President Vladimir Putin wants to end the war in Ukraine. Fox's Jill Nato has that.
On Friday, President Trump said Ukraine and Russia were close to a deal that would mean the end of Russia's invasion. But on Saturday, the president posted on Truth Social there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities, and towns over the last few days. He went on to say, it makes me think that maybe he doesn't want to stop the war. He's just tapping me along and has to be dealt with differently through banking or secondary sanctions. The president posted his skepticism as he flew back to the U.S. following the Pope's funeral and a meeting with Ukraine's President Zelensky. Jill Nato, Fox News.
A massive explosion and fire rocked a port in southern Iran today, possibly linked to a shipment of a chemical ingredient used to make missile propellant. The blast killing 8 people and injuring around 750 others. America's listening to Fox News.
Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now. From the Fox News Podcasts Network.
I'm Ben Domenech, Fox News contributor and editor of the Transom.com daily newsletter, and I'm inviting you to join a conversation every week with the smartest thinkers out there about the issues Americans face and where we're going as a nation. This show will feature deep dive interviews with newsmakers and some of your favorite Fox News analysts. I hope you'll join me as we dive into the fray. It's the Ben Domenech Podcast.
Subscribe and listen now by going to foxnewspodcasts.com or wherever you download podcasts.
Murder suspect Luigi.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
A firefighter dies in the line of duty. I'm Ryan Hedrick, and here's what's trending this hour. It happened in Wayne County, Indiana.
His name is Scott Adams. No details on what led to his death have been released. The fire department serves the southwestern portion of Wayne County. It's asking for thoughts and prayers for his family and fellow firefighters.
And that's Wish TV's Cody Fisher reporting. An argument between 2 women turned violent around 2:30 Friday morning at an apartment complex in Madison. Chris Davis reports one woman is now in jail and charged with murder.
Police say 26-year-old Tori Dennison admitted to killing her girlfriend, Casey Hilt, by stabbing her. She also admitted to drinking and not taking her meds. Dennison's mother corroborated the story, telling police the two had been fighting and she thought Dennison was hitting Hilt. No, she was stabbing her. Once the mom realized that, she and the other 2 people in the apartment hid until police got there. Chris Davis, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
In Milwaukee on Friday night.
Pacers get another look at it. Nembhard with a shot clock at 9 to the near sideline. Shepard picks up his dribble, floats it down low, turnaround left baseline. Well done, Pascal Siakam.
Mark Boyle on the Elevance Health Radio Network. Pascal Siakam had 28 points, but it was not enough to overcome the Milwaukee Bucks, who beat the Pacers in Game 3 of their playoff series, 117-101. The Pacers have a 2-1 lead in that series. Game 4 is on Sunday. On the level, on the go, and at WIBC.com. Now your forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
High temperatures in the low to mid 60s, winds gusting up to 25 miles an hour. Tonight, temperatures in the low 40s, and for tomorrow, mostly sunny skies. Our high temperatures warming up near 70 degrees. I'm Wish TV's Storm Track 8 meteorologist Ryan Morse for 93 WIBC.
At Life Church, we believe the truth of God is meant to be taught to all ages. That means kiddos too. Our kids ministry strives to teach the truth of the Bible and have fun while doing it. Speaking of fun, bring your family to any Life Church campus on April 27th. Silly Safaris, a local Indianapolis company, will be bringing their live animal shows to all Life Church locations. Your kids will love the opportunity to see some of God's cool creations up close and personal. You do not want to let them miss this. Go to lifechurchin.com for times and locations.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Damon's Garden Center West has trees, shrubs, vegetables, flowers, hanging baskets, plus garden and landscape supplies and knowledgeable staff. Damon's West on Rockville Road.
No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. Learn more at helpnokidhungry.org.
There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a star.
You're listening to Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, to nobody's great surprise, once again, we have evidence in action that when Democrats accuse you of misdeed and wrongdoing, it is because they are projecting that from themselves. Thanks for listening to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your host, Ethan Hatcher. Producer Gavin is filling in this week for producer Jack. If you haven't done so, make sure to smash that like button on the YouTube machine. Give us some support. It really does make a difference. Also, if you missed the announcement from the first segment, the ink is not dry by any means, but we are in talks right now, in discussion of potentially setting up some Saturday Night on the Circle merchandise. Get some hoodies, get some t-shirts, maybe some mugs. I don't know. Definitely some Oof Nation stuff. Get Oof on a t-shirt, maybe a logo right beneath that. But I need your help. Tell me what you want, what you would like to buy. Contact me on social media, my Twitter feed at Ethan Hatcher, or of course by Facebook at Ethan Hatcher. Look me up there. You'll see my goofy face next to a microphone. And of course, you can comment on the YouTube feed while we are broadcasting the show live. Like I was saying, when Democrats accuse you of wrongdoing, it's because oftentimes they are guilty of it themselves. And lo behold, a Democrat judge, I should say, in New Mexico, Donna Ana County Magistrate Judge Joel Cano, 67, along with his wife, Nancy, they were arrested by Immigrations and Customs Enforcement on Thursday after a tipster informed that undocumented migrants, including individuals with ties to the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua, were being harbored in his home. And they were able to verify that through social media posts. And this scumbag judge is trying to defend himself and say, oh, well, I had no idea they were associated with a Venezuelan gang. If I would have known, I would have never let these individuals anywhere near my grandkids. And look, ICE is looking at their social media feeds. They're taking pictures with guns, which were also found at the house. They are also posting things that show they have an association or a likely association with this gang. So the idea that this judge is just, completely oblivious is bullpucky. They are complicit. This is the type of district judge or magistrate in this case that is actively ruling against Donald Trump and attempting to thwart the basic rule of law. These people have infested and infected the judiciary to such an extent that now we have this degree of rampant lawlessness. And it is being empowered to a large degree by Democrats who have made these gang members the martyrs for their cause in a perverse display. And this is some hilarious stuff. Of course, the poster boy, the poster child for this entire debacle right now is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the MS-13 gangbanger who is currently in El Salvador. And Chris Van Hollen, of course, Senator Chris Van Hollen from Maryland made a special trip all the way down to El Salvador to communicate with him. But then in an interview with Dana Bash on CNN, he was confronted with the question, does this individual have any association with MS-13 criminal gang organization?
And check out his response. This is an incredible indictment, producer Gavin. It's disgusting.
They are trying to litigate on social media what they should be doing in the courts. They need to put up or shut up in the courts. Let me tell you, and I decided to write this down so I could be absolutely accurate as to what Federal District Court Judge Zinnes said about these allegations by the Trump administration. Quote, no evidence linking Abrego Garcia to MS-13 or any terrorist activity has been presented to the court. That's where to litigate this. It's been litigated in many other places. So I'm not going to get into the details because the whole purpose of our court system is for them to adjudicate these things, not for Donald Trump to go off on social media.
Yeah, you're right. They have not, there hasn't been a court hearing for them to put forward evidence in the first place, which is your whole point. But since you were the one person to have met with him, and since this is a thing, you say on social media, it's what we hear from Donald Trump and Republicans every day, all day long, you didn't ask him?
I didn't ask him that because I know what his answer is. What he told me was he was sad and traumatized that he was being in prison because he has committed no crimes.
Hey, buddy, you need a ride? I was just on my way to the big doofus convention.
Can you imagine saying that with a straight face? Well, no, of course, Dana Bash. I didn't ask him about his gang affiliation because obviously I knew what the answer was going to be. That is an incredible indictment from the senator. Of course, he is meant to imply that it would be in the negative, but, you know, if you didn't ask the question, you don't know. And therefore, he's creating himself some plausible deniability. This is some crazy stuff. And similarly, Abrego Garcia's wife was confronted in an interview about past charges that she had filed for domestic abuse, and then she suffered a similar lapse in memory like the senator.
Have to ask it. You did take out a temporary order of protection against your husband in 2021. Were you in fear of your husband?
Husband is alive. That's all I can say.
Okay, and you know I'm not going to push on that apparently, but how much hope?
You're sheltering enemies of the state, are you
not? Human trafficking, gang affiliated, wife beater. And this is the man that Democrats have made the poster child of the illegal immigration movement. I mean, you know, hey, let them do it, because if that's their case, they're going to continue to show Americans exactly why Donald Trump was needed. Thanks for listening to 93 WIBC. Coming up next, our friend Abdul Shabazz joins the show. Stay tuned.
This May, you've got a chance to see what an IndyCar driver's dream garage really looks like. WIBC's Tales from the Track, presented by Relay Indiana, takes you inside Graham Rahal Performance, a high-octane hangout where racing meets luxury. Hammer and Nigel sit down with Graham for great stories, laughs, and insights from someone who grew up on the hallowed grounds of the IMS. But this backstage pass to speed, style, and surprises is sold out. The only place to register to win tickets is WIBC.com.
For over 20 years, Howard Bailey Financial has been helping families just like yours gain clarity, confidence, and purpose with personal and practical financial strategies. And now, we're offering our full suite of services on Rangeline Road, right in the heart of Carmel, making it even easier to meet with our experienced team face-to-face. Whether you're planning for retirement, navigating life transitions, or just need guidance for your financial future, we're here to walk with you every step of the way. Text CARMEL to 888-262-1104 to download a free retirement resource. Howard Bailey Financial, helping you turn hope into a plan and dreams into reality. Howard Bailey Securities, LLC is an independent financial services firm and uses a variety of different investment strategies. Please see disclosures at howardbailey.com.
Employee pricing. That's right. At Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, you can get employee pricing across a full lineup of your favorite trucks and SUVs. Their entire American inventory has been marked with employee pricing, so you pay what they pay on F-150s, on Super Duties, Explorers, all of them with employee pricing. And if you need something a little smaller but still want to be able to haul the crew and cargo around, the Edge is the perfect choice for you. And you'll definitely enjoy the excellent fuel economy. Plus, it's loaded with safety features. Get more to your door with Andy Moore Ford. Simply purchase your vehicle online and they'll deliver it to you. And if you need to sell or trade your current vehicle, the time has never been better. Andy Moore Ford will pay top dollar for your used vehicle, even if you don't buy from them. Employee pricing on all your favorite Fords are at Andy Moore Ford in Plainfield, 2713 East Main Street in Plainfield, or online at Andy Moore Ford, M-O-H-R.
I love Andy.
AndyMooreFord.com.
Hey folks, Scott Wilson here from Wilson Farm Market. Even in winter, we're bringing you the best in farm fresh flavors. Stop in for our fresh salad bar, hot and crispy wing bar, and a cheese selection that is second to none. Got a sweet tooth? Our homemade pies, creamy fudge, and old-fashioned candy will hit the spot. Come see us on US 31 just north of Carmel. We're open every day 9 to 6. At Wilson Farm Market, we're all about fresh, local, and delicious. See you soon.
Good times are always in stock at Crown Liquors and have been since 1989. For a limited time, get throwback pricing. Svedka vodka half gallons are only $9.99. Jack Daniel's 750s only $17.99. Don Julio Reposado only $39.99. Josh Seller's Cab only $12.99. And Maomi Pinot Noir only $15.99. Pick up ice cold 12 packs of 16-ounce Bud Miller Coors Family only $14.99. Huge savings on top sellers at Crown Liquors.
My name is Jamie Bowles, and I was diagnosed with non-small cell lung cancer in December of 2018. Nobody would even know looking at me that I have stage 4 lung cancer, and I'm grateful for biomarker testing for that. When I was sitting down with my oncologist, there was already state-of-the-art medication available that I was going to be put on right then and there. Ask your doctor how comprehensive biomarker testing before treatment may help you decide on the best treatment. Visit NoOneMissed.org to learn more.
A public service message from Longevity Foundation.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
There are screening tests to catch cancer early. Visit cancer.org/getscreened.
Oh, baby, don't you forget about me.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle, where I'm your Bohemian codger, Ethan Hatcher, and the podcasts are on WIBC, as well as my personal podcasting page, SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. Plus, hop in the chat on YouTube while we stream live every Saturday night from 7 to 9. After a saga truly more ridiculous than the most wide-eyed wild fiction writer could ever conceive, the day of reckoning for the talentless Mr. Gabe Whitley is finally just around the corner. In addition to the shameless exploits of the former 7th District candidate elsewhere in the state, Governor Braun has proved to be an enormous disappointment to Hoosiers after being party to the monumental betrayal of SB 1, which promises to raise taxes while offering paltry relief to property owners. Joining the show now is the foremost purveyor of political gossip and intrigue in the state of Indiana, the debonair broadcaster and publisher extraordinaire Abdul Hakim Shabazz is with us on the phone.
Oh, that's quite a mouthful. Congratulations, my friend. How's it going?
I appreciate that. You know, I mean, got to exercise the broadcasting muscle a little bit. But things are going well here on a Saturday. How about you? I imagine you're taking a victory lap ahead of the Tuesday sentencing hearing.
Well, actually, I've been getting some sleep for the past 2 days.
Nice. For the first time in a while, I imagine.
Yeah, because the legislative session is not in until Friday morning at about 2 o'clock, or between 1 and 2 in the morning. And so between that and getting all the writing done and everything else, I was like, I'll get a little bit of sleep. So
did you say that it was going to end?
Trying to recover.
Did you say that legislative session was going to end around 10 p.m.?
Yeah, that's what my money was. And technically it did end at 10 o'clock if we were in Seattle.
Right. Just got to apply mountain time. I hear you.
Yeah, the Western Citizens time, yeah. So.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about our friend Gabe Whitley. This has been, what is it, going on, like a 2-year saga with this guy running in Evansville and then running for the 7th District congressional position and now this federal investigation. And then finally, sentencing is coming up on Tuesday. It's just been one thing after another with this character.
Yes, Mr. Whitley does not like staying in the news. We'll just kind of leave it at that. Yes, on Tuesday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon is his sentencing hearing, and he's being sentenced for filing fraudulent federal campaign finance reports. And this happened when he ran for Congress back in 2024. Said that a bunch of donors didn't exist. Said he raised a bunch of money who didn't exist. We compiled that information to the U.S. attorney at the time, and it turned into felony indictment. And he decided to plead guilty, and so that's what he pled guilty. I want to say early last month in January, and so now he's going to be sentenced on the 29th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
So prosecutors seem to be advising some degree of leniency here for what they are regarding as a first-time offense, and they're recommending, I think, 6 months in the federal pen. First and foremost, would he get more or less than what prosecutors are recommending, or is this ultimately up to the judge? Could they proverbially throw the book at him regardless of what prosecutors have decided to recommend?
Ultimately, it's up to the judge, because what the memorandum does is it's a recommendation to the court, like, hey, we feel that the defendant, whoever the defendant is, whatever they've done, should serve so much time. It's called a pre-sentencing investigation report, and they have a bunch of different factors: the level of the offense, perceptive responsibility, and it's sort of done on a point system. And so based on the point system that they figured with Mr. Whitley, they recommended 6 months in prison, but no probation. And the no probation part is actually even more interesting than the actual sentence itself.
We'll go into more detail about that. What's more interesting about it?
I'm glad you asked.
But that's my job.
See how we set this up? I set him up, you knock him down. It goes to, because remember, Mr. Whitley is in trouble. He's sort of got 3 pieces of litigation going on right now. Well, actually, he's got a lot of litigation going on right now. He's got the federal capital campaign finance charges he's dealing with. He's got my threats and intimidation things that he's dealing with. And he also filed a lawsuit against Ryan Mears.
Yeah, I saw that. And the FBI.
And the FBI and a bunch of other stuff here. But here's why I think it was most interesting, why they didn't recommend probation. Let me read this from the pleading here. It says, and this was a footnote, it says, since pleading guilty to the instant offense, the defendant has continued to demonstrate an utter lack of respect for the judiciary and filed multiple incendiary pleadings in an ongoing state litigation. In a motion for a change of venue, the defendant stated that the African-American judge presiding over his case, quote, got his law license from a Cracker Jack box because they don't give monkeys real law licenses. So think about that. Here you have Mr. Whitley calling the African-American judge a monkey. So let that sit for. But wait, there's more. That similar in a letter to the court, the defendant wrote, quote, quit turning this into a political circus and a zoo making a mockery of the court. And said such conduct from an individual, and the court went on to conclude that such conduct from an individual was pled guilty to a criminal offense only several weeks before, reflects a lack of seriousness in engaging with the judicial process, and suggests that a probationary sentence would be an insufficient deterrent. So because he called Judge Clayton Graham a monkey and said a bunch of other incendiary things, the Justice Department basically said, you know what, probation wouldn't do him any good. So he wanted to serve 6 months in jail or 6 months in prison.
So he has gone out of his way to make this harder on himself. That's so ridiculous. Why don't we get into what Mr. Whitley might experience in a federal penitentiary? Now, is he going to one of these more swanky institutions potentially, like the Bernie Madoff variety, one of the white-collar federal pens, or would he be going somewhere more serious like the Timothy McVeigh federal pen out in Terre Haute?
He's probably going to the federal penitentiary down in Kentucky, is where I'm thinking, because that's where a number of Indiana politicians who got in trouble with the feds have ended up. So I think he can make a request as to where he wants to go, but eventually the Justice Department will decide where he's sentenced and where he has to serve his 6 months in time.
Well, I just, it would be such a shame if Mr. Whitley experienced like a Shawshank Redemption-esque time in his federal penitentiary experience. Such a shame for Mr. Whitley.
Well, I'll let you make that comment. I've still got litigation pending against him.
I will take the opportunity to exercise a little bit of punditry here on my Saturday evening program. But that's not the only thing that I wanted to get into. Let's shift the discussion to, of course, this property tax debacle. This past Monday, I was on my way to a protest at the governor's mansion with heroes in the Libertarian Party like Andrew Horning, who most recently ran for Senate against Jim Banks, although you wouldn't know it from Jim Banks' perspective at all. Of course, he didn't acknowledge Andrew Horning or anyone in the process for the debate. And anyway, while I was on my way to the protest, this rabble-rousing hooligan called me out and said that property tax isn't theft. And I look over, and who should I see? None other than Abdul Hakim Shabazz calling me out. So go ahead, Mr. Establishmentarian here. You tell us why this isn't an enormous failure on the part of the governor and a middle finger to the Hoosier taxpayer, because I am feeling quite outraged by what's transpired here.
Well, okay, obviously, and obviously, Pat, where you're letting your emotions cloud your judgment, because it's one thing to be mad about property taxes, and I get that, and understand that, but property taxes are not theft. Because number one, because the argument is, if you have to pay property taxes and you don't really own your home and the government owns your home and the government, no. The purpose of property taxes is to pay for the land that pay for the services that the land receives, which, by the way, makes the land so valuable to begin with. Because number one, where do people want to live? They want to live where they got good schools. Okay, why do you get good schools? You get good schools through property taxes. We got police, fire, roads, sewer, infrastructure. How do you get that? You get that in part through your property taxes. Now, I always said taxation is the price we pay for civilization. Now, how much civilization we need, that remains to be seen. We can have that debate and have that discussion, which I think is a fair discussion to have. But to arbitrarily say property taxes is theft, it's like, it kind of reminds me of no blood for oil. And it's a nice bumper sticker, but it's not necessarily the most accurate description of what property taxes are.
It's the most iniquitable form of taxation that we have, and I'm so glad you mentioned schools in particular, because by using property taxes as the primary funding mechanism, you have doomed poor-performing schools and tied them to low-income neighborhoods, and then guaranteed success to these higher-income neighborhoods, and then essentially dictated who wins and who loses by zip code as a result of this funding mechanism. But we can get into the details of that later. What I really want to dive into...
But my friend, school vouchers take care of that. So your next point, my friend.
What I really want to dive into is the failure of SB 1, because we're running out of time here. Yeah. What the governor had originally proposed was a property tax reset to 2021, and we are a far cry from that. We got a 10% homestead tax credit that's capped at $300, and then a little more if you're a senior citizen or a disabled veteran. However, it leaves the assessment loophole to continuously allow property tax increases, and then furthermore, it substantially cuts taxes for these businesses. He gave a giveaway to his buddies with this business personal property tax deduction that can give these big business ultra mega donors up to $60,000 on their taxes as compared to the Hoosier property owner. So, Mr. Establishment Man, why is that not a failure for Hoosiers and a middle finger to the taxpayer?
Well, I would argue failure is in the eye of the beholder, because number one, it depends on what you want to begin with. Because going back to his 2021 reset, the problem with that is, okay, you're talking about resetting property taxes what they were 4 years ago. Bonds have already been sent out, and debt has occurred. And a lot of credit ratings are based on these 2024, 2025 numbers. So to automatically reset to 2021, there are a lot more sort of consequences to all that. As far as the other part goes, the business person property taxes and everything in Senate Bill 1, I would argue that's how the process works, unfortunately. Now, my thing is also this. If you don't like the way the process works, we're a year away from the next primary. Oh my God, I can't believe we're actually saying that already. We just got through another election here.
Yeah.
We're a year away from another primary. So,
time flies when you're having fun, Abdul.
Oh yeah, party in a bottle, yay. So what I would recommend you folks do, like I said, you showed your determination to have this property tax matter taken care of, is take that energy and basically go back to and sort of reset. If you want to reset to 2028, 2029, when property taxes went through the roof, and Greg Ballard ended up getting elected, and Bart Peterson getting thrown out of office, and sort of reharness sort of that type of energy into reforming the property tax system. Like I said, you will never get property taxes are not going to go away. This country was actually founded on land taxes. That's how we used to pay for the government, land taxes and tariffs, believe it or not, until we become a more advanced society. But I would argue this, old friend, if you don't like your property tax bill, then if it's Thomas Paine, if the government won't give you your basic rights, then get yourself another government.
Well, I'll leave it to you, Mr. Establishmentarian, to make these arguments. I definitely wanted to give a voice to a different perspective because there is nothing but outrage on Saturday night on The Circle. and from everybody in the chat, too. I mean, everybody's pissed off, Abdul.
Well, okay. You say, it's like I tell my wife, okay, you're mad, now what?
Well, we already did the thing. We showed up to the protest on St. Patrick's Day. The governor said he was on our side. He deceived us. So, yeah, I guess the next step is primary season, and we'll see what comes of that.
Exactly. And that, my friend, is how the system works.
Well, bravo. Thanks for having a conversation with me, as always, Abdul. I appreciate your time.
Hey, no worries, my friend. I was glad to help.
Have a good one. And stay tuned to 93 WIBC Saturday night on The Circle.
Life moves fast.
Another new directive from Donald Trump.
President Trump will not be deterred to make our federal government more efficient.
So does the news.
We expect those meetings to take place very soon.
Decisions made today.
I'm not a big fan of the Atlantic.
No threats to national security.
Could impact you tomorrow.
Accountability and transparency.
What's next?
You never know what's going to happen.
Need to know what happened.
We're already tracking it. Stay in the know while you're on the go on 93 WIBC.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 765-545-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 765-545-BATH.
Best are us when dreams don't get in. Best are us.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/today. Ethos.com/today.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
After I got out of the Marine Corps, coming back home, it was just a mental breakdown for me. I was on the verge of giving up. That chapter, that season in my life was over. Now what? Who was I? That's what I kept asking myself. The pressure to have it all together, to heal, to quiet down the monsters inside, it was too much. I lost it. I had heard about the Wounded Warrior Project. I had seen the logo and that visual of a warrior carrying another warrior. The programs that the Wounded Warrior Project offers, it's not just the veteran themselves, it's their whole family. It brings it all together. We have scars that we carry, and just because the scars are there doesn't mean that we're any less than what we were. Right now, I'm the best version that I ever have been of myself. I can embrace the brokenness.
You wouldn't go into battle alone. You don't have to fight this alone. Visit woundedwarriorproject.org/notalone.
This hour on 93 WIBC, powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Hendricks County.
Fox News, I'm Roger Stern. That didn't take long. A day after President Trump said Russia is close to a ceasefire with Ukraine, he now says Russia may not want to end the war.
Saturday, the president posted on Truth Social, there was no reason for Putin to be shooting missiles into civilian areas, cities and towns over the last few days.
Fox's Jill Nato at the Vatican today, saying goodbye to Pope Francis with a funeral mass at St. Peter's Basilica.
More than 250,000 people gathered here for the funeral of the 266th pontiff. World leaders were standing at the very front, including President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
Fox's Alex Hogan at the Vatican. America is listening to Fox News.
Spring in Indy, and if you hate to paint, do what your neighbor Don did. He called Rhino Shield.
Well, the home was built in 1948. Paint on the aluminum siding was peeling, and I couldn't find anyone who would repaint it until I called Rhino Shield.
Rhino Shield's better than paint, and the crew?
Painted all my aluminum siding, and I've got a front porch that runs the whole length of the house, and all the pillars and everything. And once they were gone, I couldn't even tell that they were there.
With Rhino Shield's 25-year transferable warranty, you'll never have to paint your home again. And right now, you can have Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
Well, I've told a lot of people, do the Rhino Shield. It's really a great product, and if you don't want to paint the house, that would be the way to go.
Here's Rhino Shield's Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino!
Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Rob. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, no limit. The savings don't stop there. Pay no interest until 2030, plus $500 off your home improvement project. Restrictions apply. Call 317-659-7574. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Want to find out what real retirement planning is all about? Tune in to Expedition Retirement with Greg Ayler, Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
Plumbing problems stink. The LD Smith Group can handle anything. Call today for $50 off any plumbing repair, big or small.
LD Smith Plumbing.
A dirty, stinking honest.
Together, we can provide 1 billion meals by 2030 because everyone should be welcome at the table. Learn more at nourishingneighbors.com.
Because the drugs never work, they're gonna give you a smirk. Cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They're gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the murder machine.
This is Saturday Night on the Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to Saturday Night on the Circle. I'm your Bohemian Codger, Ethan Hatcher. The podcasts are uploaded to WIBC.com and SaturdayNightOnTheCircle.fireside.fm. Plus, we're always streaming live on the YouTube machine, 7 to 9 every Saturday night. So hop in the chat and join the fun. Who can forget the famously bone-chilling command from jackbooted fascists of yore, show me your papers, please. But now the federal government is insisting that you comply and be Real ID ready by May 7th, or lose your privilege to use air travel or enter some federal buildings. Will this ensure tighter security for things like voter ID laws, or propel us further into the nightmarish dystopia we've all come to fear? Forever battling against the forces of evil, locked in a struggle against the megalomaniacs seeking to control us all like herds of sheeple, the unforgettable producer Carl joins us for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner.
You're listening to Carl's Conspiracy Corner. The truth is out there.
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have.
The views expressed by Conspiracy Carl are those of Carl and Carl alone. They are not the views of his station or its distributors. I mean, obviously.
Returning to the recently relocated broadcasting bunker deep beneath the streets of Indianapolis is producer Carl for another edition of Carl's Conspiracy Corner. What have you got for us? I understand your ire is squarely directed at Real ID laws. What's bad about providing a little extra security to the driver's licenses and air travel? Well, producer Carl.
Yeah, here's the deal. Real ID is going to be mandatory, and I put this in quotes because they said that they really weren't going to enforce it 100% on May the 7th, but it becomes a reality. And I have to say, just for full transparency, that I have a Real ID card because I don't want to have a problem with not being able to fly.
So you're a hypocrite.
Yeah,
You've already got your Real ID. I haven't even made my way down to the DMV yet to get it updated.
Well, this is a warning to you. I'm the fool that went and got it it because I thought it was fairly innocuous. I'm like, this is what I need to fly on a plane. I guess I go and get it. So I got the Real IDs actually several years ago. But it really didn't get into our radar of news until recently because this is going to be a mandatory thing coming up next month.
Well, yeah, it originally was delayed because of the pandemic. This or the plandemic, I should say. This was supposed to be instituted a few years ago, and I just never got around to it then.
Well, so here's the thing about those of us who digest a lot of these conspiracy theories and hear out the arguments. There's a lot of things that a Hillary Clinton or a Joe Biden couldn't get away with, and one of them is this Real ID. If the Real ID was mandated under Biden, the right would be screaming mad about this, like, no, we're not going to allow you to do this. But because it's Donald Trump, we're not really hearing a peep about it. And so this is where the concerns are. So Joe Biden...
Wasn't this instituted under Donald Trump?
No. The Real ID Act was actually during George W. Bush, is my understanding.
Is it that old?
Yeah, it's that old. And they could never get it together because of these concerns that we're going to talk about. It came out of the Patriot Act, which the Patriot Act came out of 9/11. And 9/11 wasn't a result of poor identification. The federal government knew that the 19 hijackers were here in the United States, and they knew what they were up to. The problem with the hijackers, if you believe the official narrative, is that the federal government did nothing about it. So here's the FBI being told, hey, there's these strange Arab men at flight schools, and they want to learn how to steer the plane, but they don't want to learn how to land the plane. So the issue wasn't identification. The issue was doing something about it. And we see, even though they had the Department of Homeland Security, as soon as you get a Mayorkas, the doors are wide open. So these laws, they sound good on paper, but when they actually are played out, they rarely are used to go against the bad guy. They're used to go against us.
So, but what's the difference between this Real ID and, say, just your Social Security card? Because that's issued to every American, and it's supposed to tie your identity to a real person, and that's what this Real ID is supposed to do, is verify your photo ID matches records like your Social Security card.
Well, that's a good question, and that's why I have audio for you. So this first clip is from our friend Ron Paul, the Libertarian, and I got this audio from the Kate Daly Show.
And I know some will argue against that, and they say this is voluntary, but it really can't be voluntary. If a state opts out, nobody's going to accept their driver's license. So this is not voluntary. Matter of fact, even the House Republican Conference, who sent a statement around and some points about this bill, said the federal government should set standards for the issuance of birth certificates and sources of identification such as driver's licenses. This is nationalization of all identification. It will be the introduction of the notion that we will be carrying our papers. Matter of fact, I think it might even be a little bit worse than just carrying our papers and showing our papers, because in this bill there are no limitations of the information that may be placed on this identification card. There are minimum standards, but no maximum limitations. And the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security can add anything at once. So if they would like to put on there the fact that you belong to a pro-gun group, it may well appear on your national ID card, because there may be an administration someday that might like to have that information.
So it's not simple identification. It's a whole thing where if some official body took your ID and they scanned the barcode, all of this information comes up about you because the law that was written has no limitations. So let's go back to the plandemic. If you haven't taken your shots, that's there. And so think about if there is another plandemic. Oh, you haven't taken the shot. You're not allowed outside the house. That's the concern.
These seem like the concerns of a largely pre-internet society, because all the records that you're talking about, the federal government already has. It already knows where you live, what you know.
It puts it all together into one simple card. I mean, before, if a cop pulls you over and it goes, ID, please, you give them the ID and they just see if you're wanted by the law. Now it's like, as I was telling you, the big concern that we all had during the pandemic and the shots were, you haven't taken your shots, you're not allowed out. You're going to be quarantined. And they can put those records on this Real ID.
So this is going to marry the data that the NSA has already had to your identification.
Everything is going to be there.
At least in theory. That's, of course, what Ron Paul is talking about.
Yeah, and that's the concern there. So let's play another piece from Ron Paul.
In many ways, I understand how well-intentioned this is, but to me it's sort of like the gun issue. Conservatives always know that you don't register guns. That is just terrible, because the criminals won't register their guns. But what are we doing with this bill? We're registering all the American people.
Yeah, as I was saying before, these laws are only used to enforce against the American people. They don't. The illegal aliens, it's like carte blanche. They almost have more rights under a Democrat administration than American citizens.
Well, hold the horse, producer Carl. I'm glad you mentioned illegal aliens, because isn't this Real ID going to tighten up the voter ID laws? Because part of the problem we've had with these illegal aliens flooding into the country is that they've potentially, especially in states with lax voter ID, have muddied and diluted votes by participating in an election that they're not entitled to. And so this voter ID, by tying it to American citizens, should, in theory, also strengthen our election laws, would it not?
In theory, and that was the argument that was made to Donald J. Trump, is that, hey, with this Real ID, we can shore up elections and have more election integrity. But that was the trick. So Donald Trump caved in to the health officials in 2020 because he was told, hey, if you don't do anything, if you don't declare an emergency, millions of people are going to die. And Donald's like, well, I don't want to be responsible for millions of people. So he locked things down. And then when he was told, hey, we can't open business up, we can't open up the economy unless people take a vaccination because people are too afraid to go to work, we need to do something. He said, well, I'm going to have Operation Warp Speed. I just feel like he's being played again. In order to get election integrity, you need to start Real ID, which has been floating out there since the early 2000s, and now they've scared Donald Trump by using the election integrity argument to get him to be the one to put it into play.
Well, Donald Trump certainly isn't infallible. In addition to the many mistakes that were made during the pandemic and his response to it, of course, he also famously helped ban bump stocks after the attack in Las Vegas, which we still know nothing about. Isn't that curious?
Donald Trump is, even though I voted for the man, Donald Trump seems to be a very impulsive guy, and if you tell him one argument, he's like, that sounds good, I'm going to go with it, without understanding that
he's used to wheeling and dealing from a business perspective.
The problem that we had wasn't that we didn't have a national ID card. We didn't have a national ID card during prior elections, and yet we seem to have more fair elections. The problem isn't having a national ID card. The problem is that certain states don't require ID at all.
So, in other words, producer Carl, onward we march to the dystopian future that we've all come to fear.
Exactly. It's that whole new world order that we've been talking about.
Great. Well, where can we put on our tinfoil hats and get more of the Conspiracy Corner at?
You can find the Conspiracy Corner show at Conspiracy Corner with Carl, all with C's, Conspiracy Corner with Carl.fireside.fm.
And thanks for joining us for another edition of the show.
Thank you very much, Ethan.
Stay tuned to Saturday night on The Circle 93 WIBC. More on the way.
The Pothole. Formed in colder months, tiny fissures are born, and in no time at all, they grow into big, gigantic tire killers. That's why you need Matt Baird Traffic.
Watch out on Keystone Avenue.
He'll guide you around these hidden monsters.
Yeah, might as well call it a basement.
And on to safer ground.
You don't want to be in the far left lane.
Mornings and afternoons on 93 WIBC.
1 in 6 seniors faces the threat of hunger, and millions more live in isolation. Drop off a hot meal and say a quick hello. Volunteer for Meals on Wheels by donating your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org. This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell ice cream at Needler's Fresh Markets and Walgreens.
You know exactly why you need to remodel that kitchen of yours. The space, it's outdated. You can't move around like you used to. It doesn't work like it needs to. You want to entertain and you want to improve your quality of life. This can happen, just not with the kitchen you have. You need to call Booher Remodeling. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. They can take that old kitchen that's deteriorating and broken down and turn it into something that works for you and your family. Their 5-step design process from start to finish, the consultation, the preliminary design, the design development, getting all the documents together, and then getting it done. The best materials, the most skilled craftsmen in Central Indiana. Booher Remodeling will guide you through the entire process, starting with the free initial consultation, and they stand behind their work with a 2-year workmanship guarantee. Create that new kitchen. Design experts can use an existing layout or begin completely from scratch. Talk to Booher Remodeling today. B-O-O-H-E-R. BooherRemodeling.com. That's BooherRemodeling.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995. 800-885-5995.
Politics, punchlines, and pure WIBC. The Mashup Podcast pulls the day's best moments from Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, and drops them in one place. New episodes each weekday. Search WIBC Mashup wherever you get your podcasts.
Lone Star, shine down on my hometown. Fill my memory, light my way.
You're listening to Saturday Night on The Circle on 93 WIBC.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Wrapping up things here on a Saturday evening, and want to celebrate a minor victory in the culture war, but a victory nonetheless. Producer Gavin and I were talking about a recent release off the air. Of course, the remastered Elder Scrolls Oblivion, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion dropped this week. And it's been an enormous success. More than 4 million players have rejoined Bethesda's RPG masterpiece. But one of the things that they changed, just a little tweak, Producer Gav, in the character customization menu, what had been the option between male or female was now switched to body type 1 and body type 2, because since 2006, in the less than 20 years since that time, particularly since after the 2015 Obergefell decision, apparently we've all forgotten what a man and what a woman is, and merely identifying the differentiation between the two is offensive in modern society. And if it wasn't important for them to tweak it, then it wouldn't have been important enough to change to begin with. You know what I mean? And you can further see evidence of that because, of course, after the game dropped, one of the first things that the modding community did was put up a mod on Nexus Mods, which restored the original language to the game, which if you're looking for a remaster of an already published work, you want it to be faithful to the source material, to the original iteration of the game. And Nexus Mods took the mod down. Oh, well, that's bigoted. That's bigoted to remove body type 1 and body type 2. It has to be that way. You know, call them male and female. That's bigoted. And so outraged was the community over this at Nexus Mods. Many people began, especially in India and in Europe, I guess they started yanking their gold subscriptions to Nexus Mods, and was costing the company quite a lot of money. And so finally they reversed the decision. Now, they won't let you comment on the mod because of the bigoted opinions that you conservatives might share. But now you at least have the freedom to mod the content in your single player game and restore gendered language to the character creation menu. A minor victory, but a victory nonetheless. And you want to take pause and appreciate those moments of celebration because in this society, they are few and far between. Elsewhere in America, you have parents of these entitled little crotch goblins who have been demolishing movie theaters for Minecraft and then saying that they have the right to do so. And these theaters who are complaining are making much ado about nothing. Producer Gavin, have you seen the photos and the video of the absolute devastation these brats have been wreaking, particularly on the left coast? You don't see too much of this in the Midwest.
Yeah, it's similar to the whole like boys will be boys argument.
Yeah, that's exactly what some of these people are saying.
No, like you're raising hellions.
Yeah, I mean, literally, because they are throwing drinks, they're throwing popcorn. Some of these people are bringing farm animals into the theater. They're actually bringing chickens into the movie theater, and they're trying to make it a viral meme. But think about how mistreating you are of the theater staff, the people who are cleaning up after you, and they're not expecting to do like a full detox and a steam clean of the carpeting between every showing.
Yeah, people making pennies to clean up messes like that.
Well, that's why tickets are so damn high. $15 a ticket ain't enough to cover the cost if you're throwing around buckets of popcorn and your drinks and saturating the seats with sticky syrup. Just the money's not there. Thanks for listening to another edition of Saturday Night on the Circle, folks. Unfortunately, I got to leave it there. We're running out of time, but I leave you with my parting words of wisdom. As always, wherever you are, whoever you're with, whatever you're doing, remember that life is a state of mind. And I'll see you next week.
Tony Katz.
Why is there only 3 bourbons? Why isn't it 100 bourbons in 100 days?
Because you're not paying for it.
All right, that's still good, though.
That is Tara Hastings bringing you 100 bourbons.
I trust you.
Well, thank you for that ringing endorsement.
You're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, people like you.
If that is not in a WIBC promo by the end of the day, David Wood, program director, I'm firing everybody. I have no authority to fire anybody, but I'm doing it.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Everyone's talking about Galaxy Concrete Coatings and their transformation, like business owner Brian.
Yeah, Galaxy was great. We have a business where a lot of the service techs are working out in the field, and they'll come in and they'll have even some mud or something on our shoes. So if we're having a meeting, I needed a flooring that could stand up to that, but still look good as an office setting.
Well, if you own a home or a business, Galaxy Concrete